Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and my December makes video. So I've had the last 2 weeks off of school, and so I've had a lot of time for crafting. I have a lot of different makes that I've made in this month, and I'm excited to share them all with you. First thing I have is what I'm wearing. I was working on the sweater, I think in the last episode as well. I just started the color work, but this is the holly sweater. I've used Drops Air and Drops Kid Silk to make this. The gray color is, I think, pearl gray, and the silk is in moonshine. And then the holly leaves, of course, are in dark green and forest green, Air and Kid Silk. So I'm really happy how this turned out. I'll say that the turtleneck took me like almost a day just in itself to do, but I'm really happy how it is. I kind of wish it was a little bit taller because I really wanted that like exaggerated crazy turtleneck, but quite happy how it turned out. I didn't end up wearing this on Christmas. I ended up wearing a different sweater instead, but I still think it's pretty festive, and I've been loving wearing it because it's super soft and fluffy and lovely. So the second sweater that I made this month is the Vintersol pattern, and this is from Jennifer Steingass or Knit Love Wool. This is my last colorwork sweater that I have on my queue, so it's the last one I'm going to be doing for a while. So this sweater was knit using the Iztex Let Lopi yarn. So this is an Icelandic yarn, a little bit more rustic. The main color on the top of the yoke is golden heather, then we have light beige, and then the rest of the sweater is done in moor, which is like this really beautiful dark green. I really loved knitting with this yarn because there were so many variant textures and colors in the yarn itself. There's some bright greens, some dark greens, some browns, stuff like that. So it was really fun to knit because it felt like it was always new, and I really like how the finished sweater turned out. So this sweater, of course, has this beautiful, lovely yoke at the top, but it also has some color work on the sleeves here, as well as the bottom of the sweater. And I think I was supposed to go back, I think I was supposed to use like the light beige on the ribbing, but I really liked how it looked with the golden heather. So I just continued that down into the ribbing, and I think it looks really cool. In terms of fit on the sweater, this one is not my favorite. I think the yoke is a little bit too big. I knit this up in size B, so it's the second to the smallest size they had. But the yoke is the same for size A and B, and this is huge on me. So the yoke is really big. I feel like the body fits fine, and the arms and the sleeves fit fine, but it just feels really large up around the shoulders. So that's a little bit of thing that I don't love, but I am pretty happy with the sweater, and this is the one that I ended up wearing on Christmas because I just love all of these sort of like murky olivey green colors. The last sweater I knit up is right here. It's not quite dry yet, so I'm gonna throw it in the dryer as soon as I finish taping here. But this is sort of like a self-drafted, sort of based off of the brick pattern, using Malabrigo Rios yarn in the colorway Ho-Has. So I really love how this turned out. It's very like peacocky. You get a lot more blue than I was expecting to get, but blues and greens. The sleeves ended up being a little bit darker in color. Of course, I alternated skeins the entire time I was making this, except for the ribbing. The ribbing, I didn't alternate skeins, but even still, my sleeves are slightly darker than the body of the sweater, but I think it looks okay because they're symmetrical in their darkness. And then I get a lot of darkness up on the yoke and a lot of darkness around the bottom. I do have one section that started color pooling unintentionally, even with alternating skeins. So this is the very back bottom of the sweater here, and you can see where I started getting some greens pooling, but I don't think it's too bad, and it's the back bottom, so not something that I'm going to see while I'm wearing it. But yeah, pretty happy how this turned out. It's a little bit more fitted style. I'm not going to put it on just because, like I said, it's slightly damp still, so it does need to finish drying. I also finished up my Broken Seed Stitch socks. So I started these socks probably back in, I think it was October or September, and I only got one done, and then I didn't come back to it again. So I buckled down and I finished them this month. We ended up putting like Christmas lights up around our bed, and so there was enough light in the bedroom with the Christmas lights that I could knit the sock at nighttime, just as I'm like winding down. Normally I don't knit after like 5 p.m. because there's just not a whole lot of light in my house. So I was able to finish these. It didn't take me too long to get the second one knit up, and I am quite happy with how they turned out. I just did them at like ankle sock length because I was tired of doing them. But my mom is making me a second pair because I didn't think I could stomach doing another pair of broken seed stitch. So she's doing me a second pair, and she's gonna make them a little bit taller in the ankle than this because this was just out of pure laziness. But I do like how these turned out. I think they're really pretty. I learned that I will never want to knit with black yarn because I can't see anything that I'm doing. But I do think that they're gorgeous, and I do like the juxtaposition of the black with this, I think it's called Emerald City. Both of these are in the Drops Fable yarn. So that's that one. And then the last thing that I knit this month is, I'm calling him Ferguson Frog. So everyone knows that I made Butterball, I think that was last month, and he was kind of a fail. But I did a frog, and I absolutely love how the frog turned out. I love his little fingers and toes. I think they're so cute. I think you're supposed to like wind up his legs and sort of like pin them into place. But I've been sitting him on my countertop, and I like the legs just sticking out like that. So Frog also has a sweater pattern available that I picked up, and it was like 50 cents or something like that. It was really, really cheap. I'm going to make him a sweater. He just doesn't have one yet, but he's going to be a little dapper fellow, and he has been sitting next to me at my desk and keeping me company. So this is Fergie Frog. Also, if you watch my channel, you'll see that Ruhi of Ruby's Bras reached out to me and asked me to try out her bra pattern, which is called the Sahara Bralette, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I ended up making 4 of them this month. So the first one I did, I think, is in a video. So this is view A with the bra tool. So I've used a mint bra tool with sort of like my colored nude findings. I believe that this bra tool probably came from Emerald Erin, and I think it's like either this pistachio or she has a mint colorway because it looks very similar to bra tool that I had in my stash. So this was the first one that I adored. And then after that, I did view B, which is the solid version. So this one is using some micro duoplex, and this is the color Burnished Copper from Bra Builders. Again, really, really pretty. I think this might be my favorite one to wear, even though it's not as pretty on the inside. The micro duoplex is just so soft and lovely against the skin. And then for the trifecta, I did view C as well, just so I could try all of the versions. So this one is the lace version, and I've used a kit from Beware out of Sweden. I purchased this kit several years ago, so it's probably not available anymore. But I mean, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I really do love these sort of like yellow pukey colors, yellow greeny pukey colors. So I thought that this was a gorgeous bra kit, and I was really excited to get to use it because it's something that, you know, I had been sitting in my stash for a while, and I wanted to use it, and now it gets somewhere. And then the last one that I made was another view A. This one is using, I believe it's Peacock bra tool from Emerald Erin. It's just something I had sitting in my stash, and then black findings. I really like this one as well. I think the black and sort of tealy blue colors is one of my favorite combinations. So I've been wearing those on pretty non-stop rotation. They're just really comfortable. So I do have some other bra plans that I want to make in the coming months. I don't think I'll ever get back to the number and amount of bras that I was making previously, but there are a couple that I have my eye on, and a couple that I've seen on Instagram that I was really inspired by and wanted to try to recreate. So, you know, keep an eye out in the next couple months. I'll try to fit a bra in every month now and then. So in terms of what I'm working on, as I had mentioned previously, I really wanted to focus more on some like texture and cables and different stuff like that this year, sort of move away from colorwork. Obviously, I adore colorwork. I made a lot of colorwork sweaters. I'm planning on putting up a video soon of like everything that I've knit in 2022. But I wanted to sort of like move away from that and try some more textures. So I asked Tony to pick out my next sweater. I showed him my queue and said he could pick any sweater on the queue. And he picked the Moby sweater from Petite Knit. So that's what I've been working on for the last couple of days. I think I cast this on Thursday, and it's Saturday now. So I've made a lot of progress in the couple of days that I've worked on it. So far I've got the back yoke, and I've been working on the front yoke, just joined around the front of the neckline. But obviously this is more of that sort of like Aran style sweater. So it's got some mock cables, some real cables, some garter stitches, some twisted stitches. There's just a lot of different texture on there, but again, all one color. I'm using drops, of course, yarn. I'm using Lima in off-white and Kid Silk in off-white. I just liked the idea of having that sort of like cream colored Aran style sweater. So I have a feeling that this one will get finished before school starts back up. It is a little bit harder to work on. Most of the sweaters I've made up until this point have intricate yokes, but then it's just like miles of stockinette stitch, whereas like this one I'm having to pay attention, you know, like my hand movements are, you know, constantly moving back and forth because there's all these different like stitches as you go across. So it's not one that I can like watch YouTube or anything while I'm knitting, which is unfortunate. But it's not one that I think that I want to work on while I'm in school, because when I knit when I'm in school, I knit to sort of like relax and wind down. And this is not a sweater that allows me to relax and wind down, just because I have to really like keep an eye on where I'm at in the pattern and stuff like that. But really happy with how it's turning out. I think it'll be really nice. I think it'll be like a very classic sweater. So this one just has sort of like a dropped shoulder. Eventually I will connect once I get under the sleeves, and then the rest of the body is worked in the round. But for now, or up until this point, everything's just been back and forth. So that's what I've been working on between Christmas and New Year's. So I hope everyone has enjoyed everything that I've been up to, and I'll see everyone next time. Take care.